Now this doesn't seem to be quite as filled as the last one. So I'm hoping that that bodes well for it not spilling all over the inside of the oven. Although I am definitely going to put it on a cookie sheet so that if it does overflow, then we won't have all the crazy problems we just did with the other one. I need you to take more pictures of this spice cake.
Okay.
I'm calling it the Frankenstein cake from now on.
Oh my holy Jesus, baby.
Okay, that got my attention.
Oh my God, it's like the blob from Spicy, Spicy Hell.
I love it. It is so much character.
It does, it has a cancerous cachet.
I opened it and I was like, oh God. Now, before I put this down to cool, I just wanted to show you guys what happened to the Frankenstein layer of cake. This is the apple layer with the spice cake, and as you can see, I put just the tiniest bit too much cake batter around everything, and it became a monster that ate everything from everywhere. The yellow cake with the pumpkin pie in it is in baking now. So we're going to work on the white cake layer. This is crazy. This is the craziest thing I've ever done. I must be insane. I must just be nuts. Now the white cake recipe is also for a 2-layer cake, so I'm also going to half this recipe because we only need the 1 layer. Okay, so first we're going to beat a 1/4 cup of butter. That's 4 tablespoons with the mixer. And once again, we're going to add 3½ quarter cups sugar. And a ½ teaspoon vanilla. Then in another bowl, we need a cup of flour, a ½ teaspoon baking soda, a tiny bit of salt, and we're going to whisk that. Whisk. We shall whisk it. Then we're going to add egg whites 1 at a time. So to separate an egg, you might have an egg white separator thing, but basically you just take an egg and you crack it and you sort of pour between the halves until the white stuff is out and all you have left is the yolk, and then you toss the yolk. And you're probably going to want to do the egg white separating over a bowl that isn't your main bowl, which is why I did it into a measuring cup. Just in case the yolk spills in, then it won't be spilling into your whole batter, it'll just be spilling into a different thing. Like that. Like if you just break your damn egg in there. See, if that had gone into my batter, I would have been toast, but since I did it into this little measuring cup, I could just fish the yolk out, and then we were all set. Now we're supposed to alternately add the flour mixture with buttermilk, but I don't actually have any buttermilk, so I'm going to use regular milk instead. It's 2/3 of a cup. Okay, so this cake batter also seems to be a pretty good amount and pretty okay as far as consistency goes. So cross your fingers, folks. The thing that worries me is that this is the shortest cake pan. So I'm really, really afraid that it's just going to spill everywhere. But you know, what are you going to do? Okay, so the cherry pie is really heavy and does not want to come out of here at all. Craptacular. Well, what do you think about just flipping it over into the pan? I am going to break off the extra things because it's not like it doesn't want to move. It wants to move. It's just that the cherries are really heavy. This is going to be one of the riskiest June the Homemaker moves anywhere, you guys. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Gah! Well, that was sort of a disaster, but not entirely. Mostly, that actually stayed together. Guys, can I just say again? This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever done. In probably, well, not in my life, because let's be honest. You know, there are just some times when you look at yourself and say, well, I guess today I'm putting cake batter on a pie and baking it. This one is shaped like a UFO, so So the apple pie layer we're calling Franken layer, and the pumpkin pie layer may yet be successful, but I think that this one is going to be known as alien layer, Roswell layer,
UFO layer?
layer 51. Layer 51. You ever just look at yourself and say, well, I put pie in a cake today. Those layers are going to bake. We are going to make some frosting, but we have to wait for the layers to cool before we can frost anything. So I think the first thing we're going to do is clean the kitchen again. Which is not my favorite thing, but you know, folks, it's part of homemaking. Alright everybody, here's where the assembly portion starts. I have made 2 batches of whipped cream cheese frosting. The same whipped cream cheese frosting that we used on the stuffed cupcakes. So I'm going to post the recipe in my pants. All the recipes are in my pants. Even though I'm wearing a skirt again. The apple pie spice cake, which is the bottom layer, is now cool. And it's also kind of stuck to this pan. So I have to like find a way in here. See if I can like dislodge it. So I think that this is probably, since it's fairly stuck to everything, the moment.
That works.
Well, that sort of worked. The bottom part didn't quite cook all the way, it looks like. I don't know what else to do. What do you think I should do about the cake not being quite baked?
I mean, you could put it in for more somehow.
I mean, it doesn't seem unbaked, it just seems mushy. You know what it seems more like? It seems like the apple or the moisture or something leaked into it. Doesn't it? Because it doesn't look uncooked. It doesn't look like batter. It just looks like wet cake.
I'm okay with wet cake.
Let's just frost it and to hell with it all.
Alright.
Safe homemaker practices, everyone. Okay, so I'm thinking it's probably a good idea to make as thick a layer of frosting between the layers of pie cake as possible. Also, I'm trying to use the frosting to even out the top so that it's a little bit more level. This is the craziest thing I've ever done.